Ladies and gentlemen, we are here with our Week 4 matchup in Bubby's Ultimate Battle League. My name is CBAD, coach of the Detroit Steelings. We are taking on my best friend, Iron Boffin and the Rochester Ride-Ons. I'm super excited for this matchup. I hope you guys are too. If you guys are excited, leave a like. If you're new to this channel, go on ahead and subscribe. We're on our way to 2K subscribers over here. I'm looking forward to it. Boff's team is super scary. Boff is coming off of a generational run in Draft League. He won the recent Pokemon Premier League season. He was runner-up in the recent SPL Almost Any Ability season, and he's on a tear right now. And I am looking forward to putting that down, stopping it right now. We're both currently 2-1, I believe. Let me double check that here as I refamiliarize myself with the records. We are currently, I will speak confidently, we are currently 2-1. We did take a very nice win over Playmore Esports last week. Very tough game, very hard player. Ben is one of the GOATs. You know, it was a very tough matchup for us. There's definitely a lot of luck that played into it, and I think could impacted the battle in one way from both sides. Ultimately, I think that the utilization of something like low kicks towards the end game really helped us out and put us into a good spot there. Boff is currently 1-2 with a -2 differential. We are currently 2-1 with a +1 differential. But like I said, we're looking to keep that roll alive here. There'll be some text floating somewhere on screen in post-production if you want to hop right on ahead of the battle. I always recommend you watch the team builders. That way you guys know what I'm bringing and why I'm bringing it. Big shout out to PokeAim and General Tar Heel for the help with team building this week. Boff and I usually share a front office server with some folks that have agreed to help out both parties in team build. We like to help each other with our matchups. And we just, you know, gentleman's agreement, we decided we're not going to utilize that resource, or at least I said I was not going to. He also said he will go elsewhere. So we went outside of our normal means for some team building help. So big shout out to those guys for really their input on the matchup and just kind of giving some thoughts as far as what they felt worked. And I think of as a result of that, we've got the 6 that I need in order to take him on. So I appreciate your time. You guys are going to start to see some teams appear on screen right about now. My opponent has a team that consists of Meowscarada, Landorus Therian, Slowking, Clefable, Iron Crown, Iron Moth, Hitmontop, Indeedee, Alolan Sandslash, and Hisuian Goodra. His 2 Terra Captains are Iron Crown and Hisuian Goodra, which means either we're going to have a rough time taking a hit or we're going to have a rough time dealing a hit, but I think we're still okay at the end of the day. I think we've got enough coverage there, depending on the sets that he might want to bring. If I had to wager 6 that he would bring, I'd wager that Slowking and Alolan Sandslash do need to show up. I've got a decent ice weakness just across the board, like across all my mons. And I also have a rain mode, potentially a sun mode. So I think Chilly Reception along with the Alolan Sandslash can definitely show up. I think Hisuian Goodra does come to play. I think it helps out a lot once it Terras, just having some general bulk into it. Iron Moth definitely, or excuse me, Meowscarada definitely has to show up. So we got Sandslash, Slowking, Hisuian Goodra, Meowscarada. I'm hesitant on Iron Moth. Iron Moth's a coin toss for me because like it gets fine coverage across the board and it hits really hard if you allow it to set up. But in a rain mode, all of a sudden it really can only go for like poison moves, and I have a great steel type that is immune to those and is going to take better damage from the fire types in the rain. So I'm not certain on Iron Moth. Let's see. Alolan Sandslash, Slowking, Hisuian Goodra, Meowscarada. Landorus Therian probably shows up. Landorus Therian helps out with the threat of something like a low kicks. And then really, so I could see Iron Crown come into play if he doesn't bring Hisuian Goodra, or maybe he brings Hisuian Goodra and just wants to run a standard offensive Iron Crown. I could also see Hitmontop go in there. So if I had to lock in 5 right now, Alolan Sandslash, Slowking, Hisuian Goodra, Meowscarada, Landorus Therian. And yeah, I'll say Iron Crown. I think those are the 6 that he would bring. You know, like I said, I think Iron Moth does have a place. I think Indeedee helps out with some of the terrain, or excuse me, some of the priority. Well, also terrain. I do have a grassy terrain mode with Thwacky. So Indeedee could help out with that, stopping some of the priority that Low Kicks is known for with Psychic Terrain. Hitmontop could come as some additional Intimidate support for things like Low Kicks, for things like Basculegion, Great Tusk. Clefable could show up. You know, I've got a really strong steel type, a really strong poison type. Tinted Lens Low Kicks really doesn't mind Clefable either. So I don't know if it's Clefable's game, but we'll go on ahead and see where the cards may fall. Let's start going ahead and talking about our team here. Looking into Boff's side of the field, his only forms of hazard removal are Rapid Spin in Alolan Sandslash and Hitmontop. Both of those I feel like I can handle pretty decently and stop them from rapid spinning if I am able to get a hazard up there. And so that's going to be the plan, really, is to lead off and start off with some hazards and see what sort of a best foot we can put ourselves on with Cousin, the Hisui Quillfish. Everybody got a Cousin. You got a Cousin. Leave a like. He's holding his Eviolite with the Intimidate ability. We have Spikes, Icy Wind, Destiny Bond, and Toxic Spikes. We are running 204 EVs in HP, 196 EVs in defense, 48 EVs in special attack, 60 in speed with a bold nature. What does this do for us? So first off, looking at the speed, we are here to, let me move this over here so I can get all my windows together. 60 EVs in speed puts us at 221. That is going to be faster than, your Slowking, your Hisuian Gudra, your Clefable, uninvested Alolan Sandslash, uninvested Hitmontop. Most importantly, an uninvested Landorus Therian. Uninvested Landorus Therian has 218 speed. We've got just enough to like a sprinkle to be able to go above that for like a max HP, max defense set. I could see something like that really to help out with low kicks. Quite honestly, Boff knows that I like low kicks. He's seen that I can put in a lot of work with it in not only in mock battles, but in practice when I play. So I think he's going to want to bring like a very hard, like defensive Landorus there into this matchup. So we've got just enough speed to out, like I said, a max HP, max defense, 4 in attack, 4 in special defense, whatever have you set. Just a little bit there. Our Intimidate is really going to be the key to understanding if it is a lead Quillfish versus a lead Landorus, it's really going to be the key to understanding where his speed is. If my Intimidate pops first, my theory is right. It's going to be a max HP, max defense set. If his goes first, he at least has enough speed investment to be above, like he's got like 40 or so speed. Still could be bulky. From there, it's going to be based on the amount of damage that he does. After an Intimidate, we're able to live Earthquakes from an offensive Landorus. We're able to very comfortably take hits from a physically defensive Landorus as well. So first will be the Intimidate. If we can't gauge his set from there, then it'll be the damage based off of Earthquake. Icy Wind is going to be there for some speed control into either a lead Meowscarada or into a lead Landorus. Once we get that damage, in order to break something like a Sash on Meowscarada, do some great damage into something like the Landorus Therian with a 4 times effective move. We do have the option to go for a Spike. Spikes go a very long way in this matchup. And as I talked about with Iron Moth, if Iron Moth doesn't show up, again, I think it's like a 50-50. It can be really good if he positions it right, but also I understand that in a rain matchup with some Swift Swim Mons, it might not be the best thing to bring unless it's like a super situational booster speed under Psychic Terrain type set, because something like an Aqua Jet from a Adaptability Basculegion, as an example, is just going to put it down. So if Iron Moth doesn't show up, we do have the Toxic Spikes, so we can go on ahead and get a layer of those up. It'll help out with things like the Slowking, Hisuian Gudra, Post-Terra, a non-Magic Guard Clefable. I'd anticipate maybe an Unaware Clefable if it does show up. It'll poison the Hitmontop, it'll poison the Indeedee, it'll poison Iron Crown if it does end up terastallizing, and then of course it'll poison the Meowscarada if it is not going to be a heavy-duty boot set. I would say like a Sash, a Boots, or a Scarf Meowscarada set is likely what he's going to bring there. I do have Intimidate support, obviously, in the Hisuian Quillfish that's on screen. But Meowscarada really, like, I don't think you want to bring, like, a Choice Banded Meowscarada. I think that it can hit certain things hard, but I've got answers for it otherwise. So I think something like a Sash lead, maybe just like a Boots pivot to outspeed almost everything on the team really makes the most sense there at the end of the day. Destiny Bond is there, so if we do end up living a few Earthquakes from Landorus and we do just need to kind of remove it from play because it is, again, Intimidate is not looking too... It's not bad into the rest of our team, but it's definitely annoying into the rest of our team. It can also hit 2 of our other mons super effectively, potentially 3 based on the coverage that it has. So if I am faster after the Icy Wind, if I am able to take, if we gauge that it's defensive and I'm able to be 3-hit KO'd by the Earthquake, maybe 2 spikes, maybe a Spike and a Toxic Spike, maybe an Icy Wind into a Spike into a Destiny Bond, whatever that looks like at the end of the day, that's what we're going to go for it. Same thing with something like the Meowscarada, if we are able to get that. If we're able to Destiny Bond one of the slower threats, something like a Hisuian Gudra, something like Clefable, and just take it from play right there, I think it's also going to be very beneficial for the team. So that's going to be Cousin. That is, again, our dedicated lead here. We talked a little bit about Meowscarada as far as it goes with its, potential to hit. It's got the Protean, it's got the Flower Trick, the knockoff, triple Axle into some of my other mons, hazard removal in the form of Hitmontop and a Alolan Sandslash with a rapid spin, so I do want some sort of an opportunity to spin block. I actually have 2 opportunities to spin block this week, but the first one is going to be Cream the Golden Go. They're holding their Colbur Berry with the Good as Gold ability. We have Shadow Ball, Make It Rain, Nasty Plot, and Recover. 232 EVs in HP, 252 in defense, 24 in special attack with a modest nature. What does this do for us? So really, this is here to handle Hitmontop and Alolan Sandslash and keeping them from spin blocking. The Colbur Berry is already going to reduce a lot of that damage, so even in the event where it is Golden Go versus Meowscarada, with that Colbur Berry intact, with our bulkiness, we are able to take something like a Banded Knockoff. Choice Banded Knockoff from Meowscarada is doing around 46 to 54%. From there afterwards, it does have the potential to KO me, but that damage will give me the insight to understand if it's banded or not. So from there, something like Shadow Ball or Make It Rain really is, like, just the dual coverage is kind of unchecked on Boff's side of the field. Taking a look at his team, something like Make It Rain will go well into the Meowscarada. Iron Moth can be a little bit bulky, but again, if in the rain with the Fiery Dance, it doesn't do much to us, so we may be able to get a Nasty Plot up and go for a big Shadow Ball into that. Iron Crown does not want to take a Shadow Ball, that's for sure. We're able to handle that coverage pretty well. Indeedee does not want to take anything like a +2 Make It Rain, even a neutral Make It Rain. Something like a Mystical Fire from Indeedee is not doing too much damage, if anything, to us at all. Let me pull this up here. If this is, it does get access to Shadow Ball, so if we do kind of understand it's more offensive and it wants to go for it, we can take one, understand that damage output, and go from there. If it's not a spec set, Shadow Ball has a very low chance to 2-hit KO us. We're able to get a big Make It Rain off, potentially to recover, pivot out into some of our other mons from there. Landorus, again, depending on the set, I'm kind of assuming, again, it's going to be a little bit more defensive. We don't have much speed, but if we can chip this thing down with something like Quillfish, depending on, again, if it's max HP, max defense, if it's more offensive, that's going to depend on if we can take something like an Earth Power from them. Hitmontop and Alolan Sandslash, so they do both get access to Earthquake, but taking a look at Hitmontop here, if Boff is just bringing the standard, like a max attack Hitmontop, Earthquake has a 1.2% chance to 2-hit KO. That's enough time for me to get a large Shadow Ball off doing around half, or potentially a Make It Rain off doing well over into that halfway mark. Something like a knockoff with our Colbur Berry is only doing about 20% as well, which is great. If we take a look at the Alolan Sandslash, in the Sandslash, here we go. Something like a Life Orb, Alolan Sandslash with our Colbur Berry knockoff is doing 25 to 30%. Earthquake again doing about 51 to 60. Alolan Sandslash does not have good special defense, so a neutral Make It Rain is doing anywhere from 90 to 106. If we're able to get that spike up early game with Quillfish like I anticipate, a Make It Rain is going to OHKO Alolan Sandslash from full for the offensive set. Clefable, Slowking, neither of them want to switch into Golden Ghost stabs. Hisuian Goodra can take a hit depending on the set, but it doesn't really have reliable recovery. So the more spike damage, the more chip we constantly put into that thing, I think it's going to be better for us. If we do determine that something like a Meowscarada or a Landorus is banded in any way, and we don't want to take that additional knockoff from them, we do have a Pokemon that really doesn't mind taking a knockoff in the form of Cannonbolt, the Great Tusk. They're holding their booster energy with the Photosynthesis ability, Stealth Rock, Rapid Spin, Ice Spinner, and Headlong Rush. 248 EVs in HP, 4 in attack, 4 in defense, 252 in speed with a Jolly Nature. What does this do for us? So the max speed investment, 252 with a Jolly Nature, puts us at 300 speed. 4 EVs in attack and defense each put that stat at 299 each, meaning our booster energy is going to proc our speed boost. It is going to allow us, like we have a choice Scarf, outspeed everything on Boff's side of the field, barring a Scarf Meowscarada or a +1 Iron Moth at that rate. Speed Booster Iron Crown will also outspeed us in this scenario. Max HP really does help us out in the bulk underneath those situations. If he is able to get anything like a like Stealth Rocks up, he does have Rockers in Clefable, Landorus, and Alolan Sandslash, Spikers in Alolan Sandslash and Meowscarada, 2T Spikers in Meowscarada and Iron Moth. If he does get any form of hazards up, we are able to switch into Great Tusk pretty okay, I'd say. Go for a Rapid Spin as well, outspeed most of the team, barring any Scarf users. Boff does not have any Ghost types unless he brings Terra Ghost Iron Crown or Terra Ghost Hisuian Goodra. Not the best idea once you start to see how the team fleshes out there. So a Rapid Spin is pretty free in my opinion. After that, if we threaten out whatever's in front of us with the Rapid Spin, if we are able to take a hit on whatever's in front of us after that Rapid Spin, we can go for some additional hazards with Stealth Rock. Stealth Rock is doing super effective damage into things like the Iron Moth. It's doing fine damage across the board as far as continuing to rack up that chip on some of Boff's other mons. Ice Spinner helps us to remove the Psychic Terrain if it does show up. It is also super effective damage into Meowscarada and Landorus Therian, neutral damage into something like Hisuian Goodra. Headlong Rush, really unchecked across the board. I mean, Meowscarada resists it, but it doesn't want to take it. Super effective into Iron Moth and Iron Crown. Indeed, he doesn't want to take it. Landorus Therian can take it, but again, Ice Spinner. Hitmontop doesn't want to take it. Alolan Sandslash doesn't want to take it. Clefable doesn't want to take it. Super effective damage into Hisuian Goodra. So I felt like just being able to provide that extra hazard support if we do want it with rocks, or being a last-ditch effort to remove any annoying hazards that Boff may get set up, is going to be a best-case scenario for us there. Next up, speaking of the physical hits, so Cannon Bolt can take some of those hits just kind of naturally. You know, if we're able to determine some of that damage from the Meowscarada, from the Landorus, we can switch into Cannon Bolts, you know, pretty freely, take those banded hits and be able to rapid spin away any sort of hazards, put ourselves in a better position to put out some chip damage. What about the special threats? I have talked a bit about Iron Moth, how it's a bit of a 50-50. I've talked about Iron Crown, how that could show up. What exactly is our answer for that? Enter Titanostrike the Raging Bolt. They're holding their Assault Vest with the Protosynthesis ability. We have Dragon Pulse, Earthquake, Volt Switch, and Dragon Tail. 36 EVs in HP, 176 in defense, 96 in special attack, 200 in special defense with a modest nature. What does this do for us? We're outspeeding a lot of these slower threats naturally. Slowking, Hisuian Goodra, Clefable. We're able to outspeed those just as is. Get a Volt Switch off and come on out of there. I didn't want to bring Thunderclap this week. Again, it does have the potential for Psychic Terrain that is going to turn off any priority, so Thunderclap felt like a wasted move slot at the end of the day. And also, not having any natural water types really didn't feel like Thunderclap was the play. Dragon Pulse, pretty free into the team, I might say. Meowscarada, Iron Moth don't want to take it. Iron Crown can take one. Indeedee, Landorus, Hitmontop don't want to take it. Alolan Sandslash, I'm not really interested in staying in on. Clefable's immune to it. Neutral damage into Hisuian Goodra as well. Volt Switch is really nice for the pivoting. If we are able to force something out as a result of our Raging Bolt, we're able to get a Volt Switch out and keep the momentum up on us. Dragon Tail, very nice in order to phase out as we're continuing to rack up these hazards. If we do get multiple spikes up, if we do get a spike and a Stealth Rock up, being able to just kind of continuously phase those down and chip those down for some of our other threats can go a long way here. With our investment, the special defense investment and the Assault Vest, we're really taking a lot of solid hits from something like an Iron Crown, even a Specs Iron Crown from that angle. Specs Psyshock in Psychic Terrain can start to be a little bit problematic, but we can take some. Go for either an Earthquake for some super effective damage if it hasn't Terra'd. Go for a slow Volt Switch on out of there and bring in something else if we so choose to, or we can Dragon Tail it out to phase it out if it is a booster energy set. Something like Iron Moth is truthfully not a threat into this Raging Bolt here. Earthquake is going to be doing great damage across the board. If it's not heavy duty boots, the Earthquake will knock it out after any form of hazards, which is great. I can always take a hit from Iron Moth, go for an Earthquake and knock it out. If I do think it is like a very bulky set, if it is booster speed, and I'm like, I don't really know how he wants to play this, I can always Dragon Tail it out for safe measure, get the booster energy speed off of that, and be on my way from there. Talking about late game sweepers, so I think Golden Go has potential for some mid game breaking if we are able to get a nasty plot up. At the very end of the day, it's putting out great chip damage into Boff's team. I think something like Hisuian Quillfish getting the hazards up is going to be that slow residual that we're looking for. I think something like Great Tusk is also putting up rocks. It's able to hit really hard with moves like Headlong Rush and Ice Spinner. Stealth Rocks as well, we're able to just consistently chip down. Raging Bolt's able to continue to phase things out over hazards, able to put just some good neutral damage across the board between Dragon Pulse, Earthquake, and Volt Switch. What are we talking about as far as like a late game sweeper? What are we talking about as far as cleaning up at the end of the game here? We need to set up for that. So first is Big Milk the Pelipper. He's holding his heavy duty boots with the Drizzle ability. Weather Ball, Earthquake knockoff, Weather Ball, Hurricane knockoff and U-turn. 248 EVs in HP, 4 in defense, 140 in special attack, 72 in special defense, 44 in speed with a modest nature. What does this do for us? First off, with the late game sweeper, something like this, I don't want there to be, like, Damp Rock is obviously, I would say, the preferred item for a rain mode, right? You want to have the most turns of range to do as much damage as possible. Boff does have some potential for some very fast mons that might be able to change that weather. Let me actually take a look here because I just want to, let's go, like Iron Moth could be like booster speed sunny day as an example, right? But most notably, he does have the chilly reception with the Slowking. So even if I have Pelipper in versus Slowking and I U-turn, I knock off whatever, he chillies out, my rain goes away there. There's no point in having the 7 turns if he can very reliably come in and come back out and just get it done with. Even if he doesn't have a Alolan Sandslash anymore, even if he doesn't bring it, he can still turn that rain off. So I felt heavy duty boots were better if he does end up getting rocks up. If I haven't been able to spin them away yet, I can come in with Pelipper safely. I'm outspeeding some of the slower threats. I have enough speed to outpace an uninvested Hitmontop. If it is an offensive Hitmontop, we're able to take it on pretty okay. Something like a Hurricane is going to do a lot of damage into Hitmontop. Weather Ball is good into some of his team as well. We've got some okay natural bulk to take moves from Pokemon that don't have a 4-time super effective move into us. Knockoff, great for removing items, great for removing boots on something like the Slowking, on the Clefable if they do choose to show up. U-turn if we're able to get some sort of a pivot out. If we do, you know, Slowking's gone, we're able to force it, maybe get a slow switch out. We can go on ahead and move on out of there. What are we moving on out into? Our Terra Captain for the week, Cloak, the male Basculegion. He's holding his spell tag with the Swift Swim ability. Wave Crash, Terra Blast, Substitute, and Aqua Jet. We are running Terra Ghost, 48 EVs in HP, 252 in attack, 208 in speed with an Adamant Nature. What does this do for us? So, as far as the Terra Blast itself goes, Terra Blast, Terra Ghost, as we talked about during the draft analysis with this team, the only physical move I get access to is Phantom Force. Last Respects is banned in this league. Otherwise, no game, no contest. I could come in and just click Last Respect 6 times, call it a day. I don't have that opportunity, so Terra Blast, Terra Ghost is the next best bet because Phantom Force is a 2-turn move. Power Herb didn't seem like the right play to do it once and then have to wait every other time after that. So Wave Crash in the rain hurts everything on both side of the field, and if it doesn't get hurt by that, it gets hurt by a Terra Blast, Terra Ghost that is spell tag boosted on top of Stab, on top of Terra. So it's just going a long way. I think Substitute is nice if the Psychic Terrain is not up. If the Psychic Terrain is not up, I can be a victim to something from like a Sucker Punch Meowscarada, Sucker Punch Hitmontop, something along those lines. It allows me to go for a Substitute, stall out one of those Sucker Punches, get a safe hit off there following with something like a Wave Crash or a Terra Blast Ghost, call it a day. With our speed, we are hitting 244 speed outside of rain. We're able to outspeed, like I said, something that may be a more defensive Landorus and below, a defensive Hitmontop. Hitmontop has to run a lot of speed to outspeed us. Sandslash in the hail can outspeed us, obviously, or in the snow, obviously, because it has Slush Rush. We're outspeeding Clefable, Hisuian Gudra, Slowking, things along those lines. In the rain, we end up hitting 488 speed, which is going to be 1 point faster than a booster speed Iron Crown. I cannot run a, I do not believe I can run a set that would outpace the, let me see. I could run a set that outpaces a booster speed Iron Moth with this. However, I lose the ability to run Adamant. And I also think something like an Aqua Jet from a max attack Basculegion, whether or not rain is up, is going to be doing a lot of damage to Iron Moth. And if it is booster energy, that means it's going to take those hazards. The Aqua Jet is going to be doing a lot of damage. I've got a good amount of natural bulk on me, so he'd have to go for like a discharge or a charge beam or an energy ball into me just to really get that super effective hit off. But even then, 120 base HP, 75 special defense, I believe I'm okay to take one at the end of the day from there. Aqua Jet, again, very nice. Aqua Jet also allows us to overpower the Sucker Punch from something like a Hitmontop, from a Meowscarada. If we are able to go for a sub, go for an Aqua Jet, just kind of get a little bit of chippies on it if it ends up being a 1v1. Stall out the Sucker Punches from there. We can make something good happen with it from that. That is going to be the team. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below, and I'll see you guys in the battle. All right, so we know both of his Terra Captains are showing up here today. We see the Meowscarada, we see the Clefable, we see Indeedee, we see Landorus Therian, we do see Iron Crown, and we do see Hisuian Gudra. We know Iron Crown is Terra Ghost. As we talked about in the team builder, he doesn't have a natural ghost type, so something being able to take the rapid spin away from Great Tusk is definitely there. He also has Terra Water, Hisuian Gudra, which just is thick. You know, it's thick in general, and I think that's fine at the end of the day. Our plan, as always, is to lead off with Cousin. He did not bring either of his Rapid Spinners nor an Iron Moth, so we are able to go on ahead and get a Spike up. Spike will go a long way. I think an Icy Wind into a Spike will be fine, depending on the lead itself. Let me go on ahead and grab some water. We went right from the team builder into the battle, and I'm like, overall, I think Basculegion looks great this matchup with some chippies on Meowscarada. Yeah, and I think, like I said, I think hazard control will go a long way here. So let's go ahead and see what he wants to do. We said our good lucks, have funs. I said my have funs. Leads off with the Iron Crown. Okay. All right. I do not mind something like a... Does Iron Crown get taunt? Does Iron Crown get taunt? No, it does not. It does not. I'll go on ahead and just get a Spike up here. Goes for the Volt Switch. All right. So that put us down 26%. So that could be... It's not max special attack on this. So I definitely feel like a Calm Mindset. There's potential for a Calm Mindset here. All right, Landorus. All right. Unfortunately, my Intimidate is not off. However, I am going to go ahead and get the Spike up. Now, without the Intimidate from the Landorus, I don't believe I can actually take that hit depending on. So I'm at 74%. A max attack Landorus does not have a chance to knock me out here. It would do 236 at most. So I will go for an Icy Wind here. A crit or any sort of a boosting item will knock me out here. But I'm at 239 HP, and max attack Jolly can at most do 236 to me. Goes for the U-turn. Okay. Down to 186. That was 58 to 74. That's 16%. So that looks to be max attack Jolly. It looks to be max attack Jolly. Max attack Jolly. Jolly is as fast as he is, like, quite frankly, able to run. Goes out into the Hisuian Goodra. Okay, that's fine by me. Gonna get hurt by the spike, so we know it's not boots. What do you want to do to me here, Goodra, is the thing. I can take any one hit, really. So I think let's go for a Toxic Spike here. We're going to be faster. No Terra yet from the Goodra. That's okay. Goes for the Draco Meteor. That does not take me out. I will simply go for a Destiny Bond here. And if I can remove this from play, I think that's a big threat gone. Goodra goes for the knockoff. Perfect. Goodra H KOs Quillfish with knockoff. Quillfish KOs Goodra with Destiny Bond. Okay, perfect. 1 down, 5 to go. From here, we know that Landorus is more than likely offensive. Indeedee is available. Let's go into... Let's go into Great Tusk here. Comes back out to the Iron Crown. An Assault Vest set can knock me out here. However, a Headlong Rush goes a very long way. I think it forces the Landorus Therian in. I'm going to go on ahead and go for it. Oh, and we also see that it's boots on the Iron Crown as well. No spike damage on that thing. It does force the Terra here if he does want to go for it. At that point, Headlong Rush is a 2-hit KO. Let's see what we can get here. We'll be able to poison the Indeedee, the Clefable if it's not boots, and the Meowscarada. Spike's damage will be going a long way as well. Withdraws. Okay. Goes out into the myth. There's Lando. Okay. Ice Spinner into an intimidated Landorus. We're still doing like a pretty decent amount of damage here. I will just go on ahead and get my rocks up. have a Spike, a T-Spike, and Stealth Rocks up. No Slowking also means that we win the Weather War. The non-existent Weather War, but the Weather War still nonetheless. Yep, there's my rocks. There's the Earthquake. 32 to 38 from Scarf. Yeah, 37. Okay. Let me go on ahead. I'll toss off an Ice Spinner. There's your Yachi. Okay, that's fine. Looks like next one should knock you out. Grass Knot Special Lando. A little mixed Lando there. I like that. Okay. Gudra, KO, or Lando. KOs. Great Tusk. Okay, you're at like 70% though. How is Basculegion looking here? Against a mixed offensive Landorus with an Aqua Jet. Not as well as I'd like it to right now. So let's go ahead and go into Pelipper. I will always live a Stone Edge from Landorus, so I will just U-turn here. The Grass Knot special coverage is great. I am a big fan of that. Withdraws. All right, so we get a free Pelipper out of this, which is great. Goes on to Kaguya, which is the Clefable. Clefable is not Boots, which is fantastic. I will go into Golden Go here. As much as I want to go into Basculegion. Actually, wait a minute. So your leftovers. I have rocks up and spikes. How did the T-spikes hit you? But the rest didn't. Oh, because the T-spike... Duh. Okay, so you are Magic Guard. Okay. You still get poisoned. It just doesn't stop it. Okay. So your leftovers Magic Guard. Make It Rain looks really nice right now. Just across the board. I think that's great damage into everything. Knowing that it's Terra Ghost Iron Crown means that it likely can't do too much to... assumingly too much to Raging Bolt before I eat my words here. But Clefable does not want to take this unless it's specially defensive in some way. It is not. Golden Go is going to knock out the Clefable. All right. 4 down. 2 down, 4 to go. What comes in now? Comes in Kayano, the Indeedee, the Meowscarada. Okay. So I am -1, but Make It Rain will do quite a bit of damage. I can also recover on the knockoff, so let's do that. There's the knockoff. About 36. Okay, so he's max Jolly. Now it is going to do about 41 to 49, but again, It is a 3-hit KO on us. So I'm going to go ahead and go for a nasty plot here. We also see that it's Meowscarada. Everything is boots. Boots on Meowscarada, boots on Iron Crown. So good boots prep. Good boots prep on his part, truthfully. But the nasty plot will put me to +1 here. Knockoff should only be a 3-hit KO now. Yup, puts me down to 57%. I will now be at +1. And I can go for that recover here. Because I think you want to keep your Meowscarada around, truthfully. I think you want to do that. Maybe a U-turn, you know. Yep, there's U-turn. Perfect. We're still above half. So we'll be at 100% after this turn. Some does not, like, I don't know what you switch in on the +1 Make It Rain here. Truthfully. Because if I went for the Make It Rain here on, like, the Landorus Therian, well, you don't want it, my friend. You do not want it. Goes on to Neji, which is going to be the Indeedee. Okay. So you're going to get hurt by everything. Yep. Rain stop. Perfect. Okay. A Shadow Ball from Specs I can take from full. I think my play here is to just go into Raging Bolt. Because like a Spec Shadow Ball does 65 to 72 to me. If he's not Spec, Scarf has a very small chance to 2-hit KO. And I don't know if that's the play that he wants to make, right? So I'm going to keep this thing at full. It helps out with the Meowscarada. Helps out with the Iron Crown as well before it terras. There's the Expanding Force. Okay. Ooh. That's some damage. Let's check that. What'd that put me down to? 247? So that did about 38% to me. So you are not Specs. You are not Specs is what that's telling me. So I'm going to go for a Dragon Pulse. Neutral damage. I wanted to go for Dragon Tail. I misclicked, but I think the damage on this will be fine. It could be Terrain Extender. There's the Expanding Force again. Like I said, I think there's a crit on the Iron Crown. A little unfortunate. Dragon Pulse knocks it out. Perfect. Raging Bolt. KOs Indeedee with Dragon Pulse. Okay. 3 down, 3 to go. Boots Meowscarada, Lando that's already been attacked and has popped a Tiachi, Boots Iron Crown, Terra Ghost. Okay, here comes you. I don't want to set up. I'm going to click Dragon Tail here. There's the Expanding Force. Okay, that's fine. Iron Crown, KOs, Raging Bolt with Expanding Force. So the question is, do I go into Golden Go against a Terra Ghost set just for the damage, right? I don't think so. I could go into Basculegion here and go for the Terra Blast, but I think let's go into Pelipper. let's go into Pelipper here. And then let's just go right out. Do I knock here for chip damage? We know it's boots. It's not. We know it's boots. It's not going to be. We know it's not going to be the other thing. Expanding force is going to come out. It does knock out Pelipper. Okay. And Crown KOs Pelipper with expanding force. Okay. Wave Crash in the rain has a chance to KO. So I think let's go into Golden Go here. And let's just go for a Shadow Ball. Let's go for that. Because this could be Colbur. It could also be the Ghost Berry. What is that? Cassib? Yeah, and if it's Cassib, no, it's Boots. Oh, I should have went to Basculegion. I'm getting ahead of myself here. We know it's Boots. I wrote down Boots. All right. Terra Ghost. We do not die to this. We know it's not max special attack. There's the Terra Ghost Terra Blast, 68 to 80, depending on the investment. Yep, 75. Good damage. From here, I have to go for another one. Will knock me out. All right, Basculegion against the world, baby. How many turns of rain do I have left? 2 turns of rain left. Okay. Yeah, let's just go for the Terra Blast here. Terra Blast goes to play. I think a Masquerada is going to be the game winner, though. Because if he sacks this, goes Landorus, that dies, then it's a -1 Basculegion against the Masquerada that still has knockoff available. It's going to be a 1-0. I can feel it. I can feel it in my bones. Maybe a 2-0 if he plays his Masquerada right. My win con right now is I need there to be a 3rd hidden turn of rain. Or I need there to be... Oh, yeah, and the Psychic Terrain goes away now. So now the Sucker Punch can definitely come out. Oh! All right, goes on to Landorus. That's fine. That's fine. Do I... at -1... In the rain, Wave Crash still KOs. So I'll go for that. And then the recoil damage and the -1 makes it so Meowscarada is going to be able to take me out from here. Ah, darn. I should have went out to Basculegion just a little bit sooner. Golden Go would have been able to keep this out. I definitely misplayed there by not going on to Basculegion just a hair sooner and starting to pick the KOs there, because defensive Golden Go, I could have found myself in a situation to 1v1 the Masquerada, which is a little unfortunate. But it is what it is. It's going to be a close game. I will, just in case he feels like going for a sucker punch or something, I'm going to go for a substitute. Knock off. Yeah. You're fine. You're fine. That's going to knock me out there. GG's to Buff, bringing it down to the wire with a 1-0 victory on his end. Unfortunately, walking away with a loss on our end. We are now 2-2 with a 0 differential. Great game to Buff, though. Definitely well prepped on his end. Like I said, I think if I would have positioned Basculegion in front of the Iron Crown sooner, I was like, what if he's like Policy, a berry, you know, blah, 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 whatever. After Pelipper went down, I should have went into Basculegion there and just started attacking because Iron Crown would have went down, Landorus would have went down. Meowscarada, like I said, I would have been able to, I believe, 1v1 that with our defensive Golden Go. So it is what it is. GG's to Buff, though. Like I said, played well, had a great team. Hope you guys have enjoyed. If you guys have, leave a like. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Definitely go check out Buff. Link to his channel will be in the description as always. All that being said, I want to remind you guys to be great and do great, and I'll see you guys next week for game day. Later.